Welcome back, everybody, to the Exit Row. This is episode number 30.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Hey.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Adama Anderson. I'm here with Justin Moore.
Hello.
And Paige Larson.
Hey, guys.
And we have a special guest with us today, Matt. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hey.
Or Matt Garcia. Include your last name, include everybody else.
MBG_aviation on Instagram.
There it is.
Correct, yes.
All right. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
In our rough draft, we had some trouble with that handle.
Yeah. Had to get better there.
Matt,
over the
welcome back to
break.
Omaha.
Yeah.
You've been a while since you've been here, right? About a year, you said?
Yeah, about a year.
Sweet.
Ish.
Now, you're from Omaha. Where are you originally from?
I'm from Austin, Texas originally.
Gotcha. So, give us the timeline of cities you've lived in.
So I grew up in Austin.
Sure.
After high school, I moved here
Okay.
to go to UNO for professional flight.
Shout out UNO.
Yes, shout out UNO.
University of Nebraska, Omaha.
Yes.
Yes.
I was there, I don't know. I think I lived here 6 years? 5 years, something like that. And then I moved to Charlotte, where I'm at now.
So, high school was down in Austin?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. And so you recently moved to Charlotte? That was,
Yes.
I guess that wasn't maybe recently, but relatively speaking.
3-ish years ago.
Gotcha. And so, the reason for that move was you're in the aviation industry.
Yes.
Now, obviously, you're on this podcast, which is an aviation podcast. But yeah, you work in the aviation industry.
Correct.
Now, without getting maybe specifics about who you work for, what do you do?
So my official title is Performance and Compliance Analyst,
Wow.
which is a
Wow.
fancy way.
Shout out to those people.
Big words.
Yes.
Big words, yeah.
Fancy way of saying an auditor. So I travel around to different stations that my airline ground handles in,
Okay.
and I'll do audits on anything they do. So ramp, ticket counter, gate, de-icing, whatever it may be that we handle there. Just checking in on things and seeing how the operation's running.
And that's a job you took specifically for Charlotte. You weren't doing that in Omaha. You were doing more ramp stuff in Omaha.
Correct. Yes, I was a ramp manager in Omaha.
Shout out to the ramp people, by the way. Those are the people you don't think about until they're not there, kind
Yeah.
of thing,
Yes,
right?
thank
They go through a lot of stuff, especially in weather and
What
stuff
was
like
worse,
that.
hot summers or cold winters as a ramp agent?
Depends on what time of year you ask me. In the summer, I would say summer is the worst.
I gotcha, right,
The
right.
winter sucks.
You had.
Yeah.
Could you choose one? Would you rather prefer one or the other?
I would probably say winter, honestly, because
Interesting.
you can wear more clothes. You can't. That way you're warmer that way.
That's fair.
And it's
That's always a good argument.
It's fun to play in the snow.
Is
That's
it
true.
is it different from being in Charlotte than here, humidity?
Yes.
Humidity has a
Yes.
is a
Yeah,
huge role.
that makes a difference for sure.
I mean, you moved to a massive airport from Omaha, Eppley. I mean, maybe Charlotte, on the national scale, may not get the attention some of the massive airports do, but you went from Eppley to Charlotte.
Yes.
Pretty huge move.
It's the
In terms of
second
operations,
largest,
yeah.
It was the second largest airport for a while.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that, actually.
Yeah. It's
Rocking chairs, right?
yes.
Oh, my gosh.
Fun fact: that is not
Yes.
just a Charlotte thing. That is kind of all North Carolina.
It's a Carolina thing.
Yeah, I remember when we went there and we were going through the airport, and I'm like, why is there just an array of rocking chairs throughout this whole airport?
lot of them.
It was wild.
I will say I've only been through Charlotte a couple times, but it's always been absolute chaos.
Yes.
Every time I've been
Yeah.
there. I've not spent time in Charlotte, but flown through a few times, and it's always been, for lack of a better term, hell.
Yes.
You know?
It's getting there. They're working on it. It is definitely
For how big it was, too.
Yeah, it's a big operation. Not enough space for the operation, so it does cause some chaos.
Right.
Yeah, and Delta doesn't have seats at their gates either.
Well, that was before they opened up that.
Yes,
new
they do now.
terminal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was back in May of last year that we came and it was that way. So,
Yeah.
And now they have that new terminal that has they have an old aircraft.
They have the
in there?
old American MD-80 tail
that's it. Yep.
in the Delta gates.
Yes, that is awesome.
Yeah.
So speaking of Charlotte, we kind of talked about you a little bit in the airline industry. Charlotte had a little bit of an event recently. Is that what it was? Kind of like a spot OMA,
Yes.
but in Charlotte,
Yeah.
maybe?
Yes.
What was this all about?
So we have a Spotters of Carolina group, Discord, and we have Facebook groups for each airport. So we have
Gotcha.
Charlotte, Raleigh, all those groups for that.
That's where DJ's from, right, Raleigh?
DJ's Raleigh.
Oh, yeah. Shout out DJ Spotter, right? Yeah, he's cool.
DJ Spotter.
Yeah, I remember him at Spot LAX.
So he was the one that actually organized this whole event
Oh, wow.
in Charlotte.
That makes sense. He was all about it on social media.
Yes.
Yeah.
That makes sense now.
Yeah, it was a really good turnout.
That was last weekend?
Yes, it was Saturday. Last Saturday.
Okay, yeah.
I would say, I don't know, I didn't count, maybe 20 plus people.
It
Because
looked
you've got
a good group.
you've got a new area out there, right? This is what it
Yes.
was about.
We have the new overlook. So this is our second official meeting for the new overlook.
Okay.
It's a great spot. right next to it's settled between two runways.
Like an actual official spotting location,
Yes,
right?
It's official spotting. Has a playground for the kids to
Wow.
work out.
Wow.
Play what the planes in the background. The playground itself is a air traffic control tower.
Nice.
That is so
Little
cool.
truck there. I think there's a bag cart there. There's all sorts of aviation themed
That's awesome.
Wow.
areas with this playground. There's also an old military aircraft. I am terrible with those. I do not know what it is. I want to
Join the club.
I don't either.
Join the club.
It's a cool aircraft though. They even have bathrooms, food trucks. So it's a very
Wow.
well thought out spot.
Bathrooms?
Yes.
Okay, now we're
Okay, this
talking.
is fancy.
Yeah, it is really nice.
Sign me.
So you're
up.
saying, yeah, we should definitely come back out again.
Yeah.
Be on the
I am
podcast.
down for sure.
Is it a good location? Like as a spotter, is it a good location?
Yes, it's right next to the runway. You can watch the touchdown zone
Nice.
perfectly.
Oh wow.
Charlotte,
That's
if I
awesome.
remember correctly, without just kind of thinking off the top of my head, Charlotte's a little spread out, like runway wise, isn't it?
Yeah, so we have terminal settled between two runways. They
Gotcha.
just closed the crossing one that went in between there. And then we have the far one. We call it Gastonia, which is the town
Okay.
next to Charlotte. But when you land out there, you're landing in Gastonia.
Because like you got a good backdrop, right? You've got like the city
Yes.
there. Yeah, because
Yeah.
there are some great shots that people take from Charlotte.
Yes. Yeah. So the one side you have the Gastonia runway, touchdown zone there, and then the other side you have the background of
Nice.
downtown.
Are there any heavies that come through Charlotte? Right? They got heavies, right?
Yes, we have 777, 200, 300 from American,
The 300.
Lufthansa 350.
Whoa, I guess I don't think I actually knew that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I remember us seeing that when we were there. That was cool.
Talk about that lady, the
Yes.
Lufthansa lady.
Yes.
Lady, yep.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
man.
That
Still
rings a
there.
bell. That rings a bell. So is Lufty the only like is that the international airline that comes in?
Yes.
Gotcha.
There's also, I believe, Viva is still flying in.
Okay.
I believe they're the only ones right now.
Does Southwest fly into Charlotte?
Yes.
They do?
Yep. We took them in there.
Gotcha. Of course, Paige did.
Yeah.
I wasn't asking. I shouldn't have asked Matt. I should have asked resident Southwest person, Paige. So let's see. So like going back a little bit here. So like, is there a reason you got into aviation? Do you have like, was your family into it? Is there anything that like, is there a reason why you got into the aviation industry at all?
Yeah, so I believe I was about 6 or so. My grandma bought me FSX, Flight Simulator X.
Shout out, Grandma.
Oh wow.
That was, it was a fun game. It looked cool for a kid. I tried it, had no idea what I was doing, and hated it. It was just way too complicated.
Yeah.
So a couple years go by. I took a school trip to Europe. We flew
Whoa.
to Rome, drove all the way up to Prague.
That's a nice school trip.
Yeah, it
Right.
was kind of one of those EF tours kind of
Sure.
type things on the summer. Didn't really care about planes going there. Flew a couple of times in my life before that. Just nothing crazy.
Yeah. I was gonna ask if that was your first flight.
It was not.
By chance, do you remember how you got there back in the day? Because this was a while ago now.
I found the itinerary a couple years ago. I had my mom dig it up in an email.
Care to share?
I took Delta from Austin to JFK,
Nice.
and then Delta from JFK to Rome.
Do you know what you flew? Like the aircraft type?
I can tell you, I have it in my
Dude.
flighty.
It assumes probably a 767.
Yeah, because this is far enough back now.
Yes.
There's some interesting aircraft.
Pretty sure.
7.6 was somewhere in that trip.
Because
Wow, they
I've
love
done
JFK.
I've done that where I've actually taken it from Atlanta, a 767 to JFK, and took in that same exact aircraft out to Rome. So usually it's
Oh wow.
So I flew your favorite, a 319, from Austin
Yes.
to JFK.
Yes.
Okay, sure.
JFK to Rome was a 767 on
Nice.
Delta.
Oh, I bet that was in a good livery too. But that was in a nice
tell you.
livery. I'm trying to think.
I don't remember.
back, but it was in a good
Oceans
one.
of Color one, I think.
Yeah.
Coming back, we flew out of Prague to Amsterdam on a Fokker 70.
Oh,
Jeez.
Nice.
A KLM.
Yes, KLM
Yeah.
Fokker
KLM, yep.
70.
Nice.
And then KLM Amsterdam to Atlanta on the MD-11.
Oh jeez.
Oh, nice.
And then
Yes.
Atlanta to Austin on a MD-88.
I love this history.
That MD-11 is probably flying cargo. What's crazy about that is it's probably flying cargo right now. Like, that's
FedEx.
awesome.
I don't have the aircraft number.
That's
sadly,
so cool.
But the flighty stat does show my most flown aircraft is MD-11. So that's
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
It's
Shout out,
that's a cool stat. to have.
dude. Well done
Interesting.
there.
Yeah,
That's
The sad
awesome.
part, I didn't care about any of that at the time. But coming back, especially in Amsterdam, just watching all of the traffic happen out there, I kind of started to get into it. Got home, opened up my computer to FSX again, tried that out, and that's kind of where I fell into it.
Things just kind of
Oh,
took
that's
off
cool.
from there.
Yeah.
So you can kind of take the origin story back to grandma, is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah. It was all
Nice,
grandma,
nice.
Thanks, Grandma.
Like, do you know when like you thought you might have wanted to make this like a career? Like, do you remember? Was there a point when you might want to? Because working in the aviation is not for everyone.
No, it's not. I don't know. Sometime maybe late middle school, I started thinking about flight lessons, trying that out.
Sure.
Did a couple of those, and then in high school, I really got into it. Junior year is when I started to fly. I got my private pilot's license the day before I drove up here to come to school.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh
Awesome.
wow.
Good for you, man. That's awesome.
And then so I came
placement.
up here for professional flight, and that just didn't work out in terms of scheduling.
Sure.
With all the FBOs here and how many students there were versus airplanes and weather, all that, it didn't work out. At that point, I started working in Omaha with Allegiant, doing the Allegiant contract. That's where I started my career, kind of realizing that the ramp side is actually fun. And that's kind of where I wanted to go with that. So I did everything there up to starting as ramp agent through interim manager, general manager running the station for a while. So because of that, I switched to professional or aviation management.
Okay.
My degree, and that's why I now have a degree in is aviation management. And that's where it kind of led me to my current airline. We lost the contract, went with the current airline, and started to build up from there
Okay.
to where I'm at now.
Any like plans? Like, I mean, obviously, you don't need to get too personal if you don't want to. Is like, are you doing what you want to do, or is there like, what do you see like 10 years from now? You want to be doing something else, kind of? You kind of want to keep branching through?
Right now, I love what I do. It's a great job. It's a lot of fun, a lot of travel. So right now, I don't really have any plans of going anywhere. I definitely want to stay with my current airline long term. I think this is probably my final airline in terms of career.
That says a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great airline. I don't really know in terms of position what I want to do long term. I definitely have some time in this current position, though, hopefully.
But hey, I mean, the fact that you're happy with what you're doing, I mean, I think there's a lot of, not just with aviation, but since it is an aviation podcast, a lot of burnout happening these days. You know, there's obviously aviation careers being in the news lately for obvious reasons. There's a lot of people talking about burnout. So I do wonder, having you at the table, if there's, it's good to hear that you're happy where you're at and that you enjoy what you do.
When burnout is actually what led me to my current position. Just working, especially in the winter. I know I said that's my favorite, but the amount of work that went into running the station in the winter especially, it just became too much. I was ready for a change. It was to the point I almost wanted to quit the industry.
Really?
I just needed some kind of out.
Right.
And luckily I found this position, applied for it, and now I'm here.
Hey, things happen for a reason. man.
Yes. Yeah.
So let's see. So what kind of shift from the career side, trips? You got any memorable trips, like overall? Maybe not necessarily like recently. Like you have a favorite trip you've ever taken? And on the counter side, a least favorite. Don't have to make one, but the topic is on the table.
I don't know. Least favorite / most memorable is my second ever non-rev trip.
Okay.
Girlfriend and I at the time, we flew from Omaha to Philadelphia for the day, which was a quick day trip. I think it's a couple of days after Christmas. Flights were wide open, no issue. Coming back about 9 p.m., the aircraft went on an engine maintenance issue.
Oof.
Kept rolling till about 1 a.m. They finally canceled it. The rest of the flights
God.
out of the airport, it was done for the day by that point. But the next day, it was no seats anywhere. And of course, the Omaha flight at that point had filled up from everyone moving over to that one. So we got creative with it. We ended up flying from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh to Dallas, Chicago, Omaha.
Oh,
That's a
man.
day. That is a day right
We may
there.
have spent more time in the air than we did in Philadelphia.
Holy
That was the
moly.
only routing we could find with open seats.
That's gross.
Yeah.
Wow.
Would you say, like, just out of my own curiosity, do you basically, when you fly, are you non-revving basically 100% of the time now?
Yes.
100% you'd say?
Yeah, 100%.
Gotcha.
Well, I take that back. 99%. If I go to Hawaii, we usually buy a ticket back. Just because getting back from Hawaii is pretty rough as a non-rev.
Yeah.
Depending on when you go. I typically go in the summer, so that's a hard time to get back.
Do you enjoy non-revving or do you find it a headache?
It's fun. It's a game.
Right.
It makes it interesting.
Yeah, see, that's how I like people that look at it like that rather than, abusing the system maybe per se. But yeah, looking at it kind of like that.
Yeah, there's so
That's
many
awesome.
little pieces that you can add to it to get different statuses, to find these odd connections like Pittsburgh to get to Dallas and Chicago. So yeah, it makes it fun.
So we got a couple more questions here, and these are going to get kind of personal here for the group.
These are fun.
Now, supposedly I was not there personally, but I've been asked to discuss the shooting between you, Paige,
Almost
and
shooting.
Yes, almost.
almost shooting.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Quote, almost shooting. Paige,
Almost got shot.
discuss. Yeah. We're going to bring Paige in here. Paige, shout out.
Yay, me.
Hey.
So this was back in October of 2021. Me and you went to Narrow River Park.
Yes.
This was the first time I was there.
Yes.
And
Last time, too?
no, actually.
Okay, gotcha.
And then,
So that's a park that's in the flight line path.
yes, south.
Isn't it technically in Iowa?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it
in
is
Iowa.
technically in
It's
Iowa.
across the river.
If you know Epley, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, so south runways.
Yes.
And we were spotting, and we had our cameras like up in the air. So,
Mm-hmm.
planes going overhead, cameras in the air. And this lady comes over, and she's like, hey. And I was like, please don't be talking to us. And she was like, are you guys deaf? And then you were like, what did you say?
I don't even know what I said. I knew it wasn't going to be a good situation.
No, her tone was
point,
angry.
yes.
Given the tone, you knew we were
Yes.
about to go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at that point, she had started asking why we were taking pictures of her kids on the playground,
Yeah.
which
Awkward.
was to our back the whole time. We were
Sure.
always shooting away
Yeah,
from
and
them.
reminder that our cameras were straight
Yes,
pointed up
they
in
were
the air.
in the air,
like,
the opposite direction. Never once was the camera pointed towards
No.
her at all.
Gotcha. In a court of law, for
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
Gotcha. Understood.
So it escalated to the point that she threatened us with her gun that she had on her.
Yeah.
Allegedly had on her.
yeah, she said that she was going to shoot us. And she was like, if you guys try and leave, I'm going to run you off the road. And I hope you see Jesus today. Like,
Oh.
Yeah, it was intense. So at that point, she had walked away, went back to her kids. So
no, she went back to her car.
she go back to her car.
And I told you, I started shaking my head. I was like, dude, she's going to shoot us. We need to do something. And my panic brain first instinct was jump in the river. Because I was like, she can't shoot me if I'm in the river. So
Did you? Did you?
no, I didn't. But
Aw, bummer.
had I seen her pull a gun out of her car, bye, I was going. Like,
I would not have done that.
Right.
That is not the cleanest river.
No.
no, but I wouldn't be dead.
Well, you can get shot in a river. Let's be honest. Yeah.
You can.
Let's get shot in a river.
Yeah,
But hey,
but-
panic mode, I get where you're going.
Yeah.
I get where you're going.
It was valid.
Getting shot in that river might be the worst place to get shot.
Right.
Instant
she
instant
can't
infection.
see me in the water.
Instant
she can't
infection.
shoot me. So that was my logic behind that. But yeah.
But turned out, like, didn't this escalate, like, a lot?
Yeah.
It did. So it got to the point when she went to her car, I pulled out my phone. I knew if I put my phone to my ear, she knew what I was doing. It would escalate it quicker. So I decided to text 911, which is an option for many people.
Which is where I learned that you could do that, which
Yes,
is
many
really
people
cool.
do not know that. I think I just learned that a few weeks before this incident also.
I
man.
guarantee someone listening is learning that right now.
Yes.
Exactly.
The more you know with the exit
The
row.
exit row. Yay.
Yeah, so I texted 911 and told them what was happening. They responded right away, asked, exact location, all that. They got it from, my phone GPS also. And they sent cops pretty quickly.
Very quick. Yeah. About 3 of them came out, and they
Yeah.
had her car barricaded too.
Yes. Yeah, because I believe it was just the 2 cars in the parking lot. It was ours and hers, correct?
Yeah, there wasn't many.
Yeah.
Until I showed up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Adama.
Yeah, because Matt, you sent a text in our group. You were like, you had gotten done dropping your wife at the airport. So you came into the chat and you're like, all right, guys, I'm on my way. And Matt was like, I would advise you not come over here. There's a lady with a gun. And you were like, I like me a little bit crazy.
I like I like me a little bit crazy.
And then you literally came, you turned around and then left.
Yes.
And the cops were there by that point. So,
Did she get arrested or no?
I don't believe she did. I think she got a warning.
Right.
well, so what happened was, they believed what we said. They came and talked to us, and they said, okay, we're going to keep her here. You guys leave. And once you guys are about 10 minutes or so left, we're going to let her go. So that way she couldn't follow us or figure out where we were. So,
Good to know she's got children.
Yeah.
You know?
right. Yeah, I do believe the cops said that there was a custody battle and that she was being a little bit too overprotective. So
I do
good.
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, good way to.
Okay.
Way to
you.
be protective. Yeah.
Did you ever edit those pictures of the kids that you took of? No, I'm just kidding.
No, we offered to show the police our cameras and
Right.
let them go through, and they didn't even want to do that. They knew it was obvious.
She kind of sounds like one of those stereotypical Western Iowa stereotypes.
Yes.
Potentially.
Yeah.
You know what I'm getting at? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just leave it there. But anyway, safe,
Yeah.
right? You're good. You didn't get in the river.
No, I was not in the river.
Have you ever been in the river?
No,
Good.
thankfully.
Cool. Please don't.
But yeah, then we all went up to the top of the garage. All 3 of us went and spotted from there.
Discuss the events that
Yeah.
occurred, I'm sure. Yeah.
That may have been my first time meeting Adama, I think.
I think so.
I believe it was. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
A long time ago.
Yes.
I guess technically, yeah, that probably was a long time ago. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I think I do remember the chat that day because I believe I was in that chat.
You are,
I
yeah.
was talking about that.
The
and I
Omaha
was like-
Spotters chat.
I was like, who are these people? Because I don't know if we'd had all yet met. And I was like, why can't you guys just hang out at the actual airport?
Where are you guys hanging out?
So see, we discussed Amsterdam. Was that the Amsterdam trip maybe that you guys were referring to for Matt to discuss?
I don't believe so.
No, but he has a story.
No,
about
this is
Amsterdam.
different.
Okay.
Well, actually, it's
I mean,
connected
it's the same.
to that trip.
Yeah, because you said it was a
it's-
school trip.
Yeah, it's connected to that trip.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
So Amsterdam. Discuss.
Coming back from Amsterdam, or from that whole trip, we started in Prague, flew to Amsterdam for our layover. Once we got to Amsterdam, we went through an extra screening at the gate. I believe it's at the gate for the international screening, and they had found something in my backpack that they were not a fan of. So,
There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
yes, going back a couple of weeks before this trip, I got on a camping trip.
Thank you.
I got you.
I brought my BB gun with me. Don't even know why. I don't even think I used it on that camping
Bro.
trip. Yes. Used the same backpack.
Wait, real quick. So this is back in like 2000. Like,
This is 2012, maybe?
oh, okay. I was thinking
Yeah,
maybe
no,
even
2012.
further. Never mind.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, it's 2012.
Keep going. Yeah.
So I used that same backpack I took on the camping trip that had the gun in it. I did not have the BB gun in the backpack.
This was a good
All
segue.
right, so you're not
actually.
one of the numbers.
This is actually
this-
this was a good segue. Gun topic to gun topic.
Yeah, it's connected
Unintentional.
a little bit, yeah.
Unintentional. Good work.
So in the very bottom of the backpack, it kind of had this spot that bunched up a lot, and stuff would kind of get lost in there. Well, something that got lost was a BB clip, the pistol clip for the gun.
Oops.
So, so mind you, I had already flown out to Europe at this point. So I gone through TSA at Austin Airport.
Sure.
No issue.
Great job.
Gone through security in Prague. No issue.
Yeah.
Another great job.
Speaking of, yeah. The
Yeah.
fact that you're already there.
You're already in
Exactly.
Europe.
On the return, after going through 2 different airport screenings, they found this clip buried in the bottom of my bag. So at the time, I had no idea what was happening. They called the police over, who had like this tactical vest with grenades.
And the Dutch police are very, yes. you
they-
don't want to mess with them.
Did you get probed?
I did not get probed, thankfully. But they did tear apart my backpack, found the clip. And of course, it had no markings.
Had you known at the time? Like, were you even aware of what? Like,
No,
could
I
be
had no
going
idea
on?
what they found.
Gotcha.
And there's no marking on the clip indicating that it was, a toy or a BB gun at all.
Sure.
So they assumed it was a real pistol clip. So they were looking for an actual gun.
Oh man.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Man.
So it turned into a whole thing. The teacher chaperone was not happy with me.
No,
She
sure.
was being very nice about it at the time. They said I may end up going to jail that night. So she was going to go, stay with me at the jail and try to get me out, all that stuff. So eventually, I don't know, probably 30 minutes go by of this interrogating and searching, and they just took the clip, threw it away, and let me go.
Like, I'm sure discovered eventually that it was BBs.
Yeah, they
But
were
still.
trying to look up online to figure out like any numbers on it, if they could identify that to something online to match it with.
Because you just had the clip. You didn't have
Just
the.
a clip. I knew
Gotcha.
better than not have the gun in there. So
Right.
it's like,
Yeah.
I just did not realize the clip had fallen
Right.
into this abyss under the backpack.
Gotcha. Okay. That is wild, actually.
Yeah. That's,
Did you ever? So no time spent in a weird cell and
Nope.
no probing.
I was allowed to get on the MD-11.
Gotcha.
So
Oh yeah.
There you go.
That's a wild story, actually.
yeah, my teacher still hates me to this day.
Really.
She avoided me in high school after that.
That's such a weird thing to be so mad at you for. Like it was a mistake.
That also gets the trip started off on a rough note.
It
by
was
the way.
ending the trip.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
it
was
was
coming
ending the
back.
trip.
Okay,
Yeah.
my bad.
It was
my
a good
bad.
time that happened at the end of the trip. So.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Not marijuana, not that. It was your BB guns.
Yeah.
yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun times.
Nice.
I was probably the most nervous I've ever been in my life.
Not to mention how far you got to that
Yes.
point, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
it was found. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been. I mean, it's a European prison, so it wouldn't. A Western European prison, it
Yeah.
would have been all right. So, I'm just. Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, do we have any questions at the table? Anything else we'd like to cover that we didn't miss? Anything you'd just like to bring up in general, Matt?
I want you to talk about some Omaha experiences you have.
Yes.
Do you have anything that's a little bit crazy
I have
that
a
you
lot
can
of
share?
things. I think the one you want is the slide deployment we had.
Oh yeah.
You know what we want.
Yes.
we want
Yes.
the deets.
So without too many details, about 2 a.m. one day I get a phone call from my boss saying that we had a slide deployment on an aircraft. So the emergency slide and the front right door of a 319 was deployed overnight.
Typical 319.
Yeah, it's your favorite.
Right.
You don't even understand.
It wouldn't have happened anywhere else.
It probably wouldn't have, no.
Okay, whatever.
So it was all hands on deck at that point because slide deployments are a very big deal. So we had, I believe it was 4 managers at the time show up to this slide deployment to start the investigation process, figure out what happened. It turns out during the cleaning process, one of our employees was cleaning the front galley, and we have a two-step process, a two-person process to open these doors. So there's a trash can right next to the door, which means you have to open it, have a person verify. So you verbally say, this is disarmed, you point to all the items on the door, and another person will verify what you're doing and repeat it back.
A check and balance. So, yeah.
So this person decided they did not want to do that because the rest of the employees were in the back of the aircraft cleaning. So instead of waiting for them or asking for them to come up, he decided to just do it himself. He said that the door was disarmed at first. Story changed to it was not. And then he didn't know at that point. So it changed 3 times throughout the process. But anyway, he opened the door, slide deploys right on top of our ground power unit. So we did our whole investigation process, drug testing, all that fun stuff. And it turns out the employee was, he knew what he was doing.
Believe it or not.
What it seems like. Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Given a man who flip-flopped his story a few times,
Yeah.
actually wasn't at fault. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, the slide deploying is an intense, motion. Intense event. If you watch it happen, that's wild stuff.
Yeah, I did not see any footage from that, sadly. I know there was footage. I do not have that, though. But it was very interesting to see that whole process after the fact of taking the slide off the aircraft, having maintenance inspect it. We ended up just packing it in the front cargo bin and ferrying that aircraft to Charlotte to be fixed.
It's crazy, for maybe people that are listening that maybe aren't, av geeks like us, what one might consider a very small thing in a slide being deployed is a massive event,
Yes, it
taking
is.
an aircraft out of service, kind of massive.
Yeah.
Very
Expensive.
costly and
Some people might just say, why won't you just roll it? Honestly, there's people that probably think you just roll it back up and put it back in.
Yeah.
Like a suitcase in the bottom of a plane. But this is a massive event.
Yes.
This is why we're talking about this specifically.
Yeah, I mean, the flight was canceled that next morning. I believe they got a ferry aircraft to come in and pick up the passengers eventually. But yeah, I mean, that aircraft was out of service for a long time. A lot of maintenance work, a lot of money.
A very expensive event for the
Yes.
airline as
It's
well.
Yeah, I mean,
$10,000.
the revenue cost alone was a lot of money that we lost, and then the maintenance cost of that slide is expensive. It's a piece of emergency equipment, so it's
Right.
It's very high tech, and it's a lot of money we lost.
For people that are probably wondering, did you go down the slide at all?
No, we were not allowed
Dang.
to do that. We all thought about it.
Man, I would have.
We had a lot of questions because it was on top of a ground power unit.
Oh,
Right in the middle of it, that probably would have hurt a little bit.
Clipped
Safety,
Get clipped
Yeah.
by the power unit. Yeah, that'd be tough.
You don't want to write
Yeah, that'd
more
be tough.
reports on your employees.
Right. Yeah. So that was probably one of the crazier things that's happened in my time at Epley.
Have you had anything while you're at Charlotte or at any of these? So, you have traveled so much last year. You and I were trying to compete against having the most flights, but you ended up winning
I
last
won.
year.
Yes.
Adama still talks about that. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm still doing it.
All right, me and Justin are over here like plebs, not as nearly as many flights as these
Average
two.
human beings is what we would be known as. Yeah.
Right.
So, in the last year, have you found anything interesting at any of these airports that you've gone and visited?
I mean, it's tough because I'm going on my, 6th year in the industry, maybe? Mm-hmm. So some things that may be interesting to others are not really interesting to me anymore. I'm just kind of
Sure.
used to it. So off the top of my head, no, I can't think of anything that's crazy. I mean, we've had all sorts of maintenance issues pop up on my trips.
Have you dealt with anyone dying? Literally, a passenger? Have you dealt with any of
that's a
that?
good
Passenger, no.
I know that's a rare
You
event.
did see that though, someone being carried out.
Yeah, I believe I did witness that right at the beginning of the COVID period in Epley from a Delta flight.
I just bring that up. Did you hear about that big Q flight a week or two ago that someone had died on board and they were in their seat for the duration of the flight? And
No.
obviously now I just bring that up because
Okay, here, if I was next to a dead person for a whole flight, I'd be like, no, put me somewhere else.
But they're dead.
I don't care. That's the problem.
They're not going to attack
That's
you.
literally that's the problem. I physically could not do it.
You just touch them. Hey, buddy,
Okay.
wake up.
Has anyone ever been
Okay.
locked in
Sorry,
the
more.
bottom of what do you call it where you put the bags? Has anyone
The
the
cargo,
cargo
bin?
bin,
No.
has anyone been in there?
No. Not when I've been around, no.
Gotcha. I always feel like that would be pretty horrifying.
I've heard
That'd be
stories of
scary.
that happening.
At least unintentionally. Now I'm sure there's some intentional
Yes.
people storing themselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's another thing.
What's the weirdest cargo that you've ever had to put on?
Oh, there you go.
Or something that somebody has asked to be checked in? Some of those weird ones that you've seen.
We had, as for cargo, we had a lot of animals from the zoo, from the Omaha Zoo, going to San Diego Zoo.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
know, there's some kind of zoo partnership there. So we had a lot of monkeys, different types of birds, exotic birds. So that was always interesting. Lots of pets, also a lot of dogs.
Sure.
I remember you saying once, or you showed me a picture. Maybe someone checked a vacuum.
Yes. There was a carpet cleaner, a Bristol carpet cleaner.
Nice.
No
Nice.
packaging, anything. It was just the carpet cleaner as it was, bag tag wrapped around the handle,
Hey.
and it made it one piece.
Handle with care. Like, how do you put that into the aircraft with the luggage? Do you just kind of separate it so it doesn't get, like...
I think that would be
Broken?
best on top of the stack.
That's what I was
Probably.
thinking.
Think of it as
yeah.
like groceries. You're not gonna put the eggs on the bottom, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how it came in. I believe from Dallas.
But like you don't box it. Like you don't put it into a box or anything. Like you don't
No,
take
we-
care of it.
No, however you check it
Right.
is typically how we will send it, unless something happens. Like sometimes we'll have zippers bust and we'll have to put it in like a bag or something like that. But
Like how when I checked that rock in Charlotte last
I was just
year.
gonna shout that out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's those Instagram and Twitter profiles out there of people checking, weird things like a pool noodle, stuff like that. You know.
yeah, I think the carpet cleaner is probably the craziest thing.
I mean, it must have been some pretty tough carpet wherever she was going.
I know.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if that was a cheaper option. I feel
Maybe-
like you could rent a carpet cleaner somewhere for cheaper than the bag fee, but
So maybe one more question that's coming up. Have you flown either of the 747 or the A380? Have you been on either?
no, neither.
Gotcha.
On my list though.
What's your favorite? Got a favorite aircraft? How about the Dreamliner, 777? And you prefer one of those? or-
I mean, 7
in terms of heavies, I guess,
the
yeah.
Dreamliner is always fun. I think the most flown for me is the 777,
Okay,
200 and 300. I mean, the first class seats on the 300 are great.
sure,
So,
Interesting.
I mean, in that sense, that's my favorite.
absolutely.
I mean, the buttons though on the
Are you more of like a fan of older aircraft, or do you prefer like modern?
I
Like,
prefer modern.
Yeah.
That's what I'm more used to, I guess.
sure,
Yeah.
cool. Matt, I think you're about to say something.
Well, I was just gonna ask real quick. If you could go to another airport, let's just say you had a dream airport, like
Okay.
Like
that
Carney.
you could go work for, where would you work? Like, the operations of some of these airports and how they work. And some are very, very complicated and some are very, simple, like here in Omaha. I assume it's very simple. It's a small airport, right? But if you could go to your dream airport, where would it be?
That's a great question.
Yeah, hypothetically, if you could go start somewhere tomorrow, anywhere, where would it be?
Yeah, I mean, seeing EDOT's photos on Instagram, if you guys know who that is, he's
Maybe.
some sort of airport operations in JFK, and some of the pictures he gets from JFK are
So do you
wild.
prefer to work the bigger airports? Like, would you?
Yes, definitely.
Like, that's what you would want to do.
Yeah, it's more fun. I mean, more chaos.
Sure.
I strive in the chaos of the airports. So some of these small airports I go to that have 1 or 2 flights a day, it's just I can't do that. It's too
Gotcha.
boring.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's definitely bigger airports would be fun. I don't know if I have an exact airport I would want to go to.
Fair question.
Okay.
Charlotte is
Hey.
underrated busy, in my opinion.
It is.
Like, it's underrated busy.
Yeah.
Very low variety,
Right.
but
Well, variety, but a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
Well, Matt, I think that kind of winds up our questions. You've done a fantastic job. Another shout out for Matt here.
Yes, thank you so much.
You did so well. I think we're going to go ahead and keep you around for the next couple segments if you don't. mind.
Oh, really? Okay.
If you don't mind. If you don't mind.
I'll happily stay here.
So again, where can people find you on socials by chance?
MBG_aviation.
Gotcha. Sweet. Okay.
All right, on that note, we will be right back.
All right, guys. Welcome back to the exit row. Adama, you had some wild trips going on recently.
Yes, I did. I guess they're wild.
lead-in.
Well, I would say it's wild because nobody literally takes narrow bodies to go to Europe like the whole way.
That's
you
the
know.
wild part, yeah.
Usually
There
A
and
lot of
back.
people do technically, but yeah, I mean, there's flights every day, right? On
There
days.
are, but it's not normal to go the way I did. So, because it's not Delta, it's not American, it's not United when you're coming from America, right? So, first off, I went to MSP. That's where I flew out of, which they have. So, kind of like how you said, Matt, they had like how Charlotte has their spotting area, their spotting park. They also have one as well. That's kind of next to the runways as well. However, you have to have like a ladder if you want to get pictures of the aircraft.
Yeah, or stand on the picnic tables.
Because that's right. You both have been there. Yeah.
Not just you, Adama.
There you go. Right. Yeah, you guys went without me. That was the Sun Country.
Sun Country inaugural,
That's
yeah.
right. So I went there, and I also went out to the dog park. I don't know if you guys went out to the dog park, but MSP has a dog park, and they have an area that you can spot from as well. So
I don't know if that's the park we went to that Eric took us to, Jet Set Shirts,
No idea.
where we watched the
Well, we did see
approaches.
some dogs there, ironically, so maybe.
yeah,
Remember
probably-
Yeah,
there was
the
that,
dog
remember there
peed
was
on
that
his
one
bag.
dog that peed on his bag?
Yeah.
sounds
maybe
like
that
the
was
dog
the
park.
I mean, we only saw 2 dogs, so I mean, it could have been. Who knows?
Yeah. I don't
It
know.
was a park.
So I went there to Minneapolis. I did see the Sun Country. We talked about that a little bit earlier. The Minnesota University of Minnesota plane.
That'll actually segue into my Paige's polls, one of them.
Okay,
Someone brought that up, so we're going to talk about it.
we're going to talk about it.
We got
So I did that. I went to, again, me and my soccer went to Minnesota United to go check out their stadium, making it the 11th MLS stadium I went to. But halfway I left because I had to get this Iceland Air flight and drop off my rental. So I went up to Minneapolis Airport, and I went to Terminal 2, and not Terminal 1, obviously, right? But Terminal 2 is where the Sun Countries and the Southwest planes fly out of.
It's a cute little terminal.
It is small, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, it's nothing like Terminal 1. Like, it's a night and day difference.
It is.
Yes, completely.
So I took Iceland Air out of there, out to Reykjavik-Keflavik Airport.
It's
Sure.
like Minneapolis, St. Paul, you know.
Yeah, so I took them. I went ahead and booked, because it was just a little bit more, the first class, but they call it business class, not first class. And it was a 737 MAX 9 out to Keflavik. I've never been to Iceland before, but I was only there for like an hour or two. So, what's the experience like? Let's see. They have a lot of obviously local Keflavik or Icelandic alcohols and foods. But with that airline, if you aren't in the first class, there's their business class, which is Saga. You end up being in your obviously economy. You have to pay for your food and you have to pay for all that. So
Gross.
I just went ahead and booked Saga, so that way I get my meal and have a little extra leg room.
What'd you eat?
There was duck breast.
So interesting.
Sounds very Icelandic, honestly.
And I can't remember what else it was, but it wasn't a bad meal. It was kind of nice. It was a 6-hour flight on a MAX 9. Really,
Isn't that the cool thing about Iceland Air? They've got like multiple liveries. They're all the same concept, but there's like different colors. They're all like
Each,
different
like,
colors.
the tail has, like, a different color, yeah.
They're
and
like toothpaste-esque colors. Yeah.
and each
Pastels.
yeah, that's true. Pastels. Each airline or each airplane has its own. It's very European based, where each airline it's named after something or somebody, and mine was named after some cave or waterfall. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, when you get there on the aircraft, you see it right there, what the aircraft is named after. Not really a bad experience. I got out there to Keflavik. I spent a quick 30. Actually, passport control was kind of chaotic because you had all these American airplanes that were coming in, and nobody knew where to go. Some people were trying to actually go to Keflavik, but those who were trying to transition, it was kind of difficult to transition. They finally told everybody who's in the line to try to come through passport control, no, you need to go to this line if you're transferring. So the signs weren't really helpful, and I'm talking about the line when I got into that initial line is probably about 2 hours is what they were saying to get into Iceland. And then they realized that everybody was coming in and, oh, hey, all you guys who are transferring, you guys got to go over here. So got over to transfer, got into Iceland and into Europe, and then went over to the Saga Lounge real quick, which they had like a big old Icelandic rock inside, and it was kind of interesting.
Interesting.
Sweet rock. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big old rock that was in there.
Big old rock.
So I did that for a quick 15 minutes just to get myself together. Went to my next airplane, which was a MAX 8 with Iceland Air. and that was out to Malpensa.
Oh, so the Max 9 was. Oh, so you flew both variants.
Yeah.
Oh, weird. Okay.
And yeah, so going to Malpensa, and it was, I'm trying to remember, it was kind of nice because the sun was coming up at that time. Oh yeah, and when I came in from the Max 9 from Minneapolis, I did take air stairs down, so that was cool.
Sweet.
I always
that's
love
right,
that.
yeah.
That's always a great thing. However, when I took the Max 8 out, it was not air stairs. It was the jet bridge. And they have some weird gates there too. Like everybody has to go inside of a glass gate to get into your gate. It's just a little weird.
That's interesting.
Hard to explain, but yes, it's just a weird glass gate. Yeah, so got on my Max 8, went off to Minneapolis. Finally was able to get some good sleep.
You mean Milan?
Milan, see?
Yeah.
M-I-L.
Wait, you're coming
Don't
back?
know where you're going.
I thought you didn't take Iceland back.
Yeah, I did not take Iceland back to Minneapolis. So yeah, no, I took it to Milan, and one cool thing was like their amenity kit for the Saga guys was it kind of was like this paper bag. It's not this plastic bag that you usually get with some things.
Probably some recycled material. Yeah.
Yep.
It looks that way, yeah.
But I really liked the little eye mask. It's not the typical black eye masks that you get on some of these airlines.
And most importantly, it's got
Standard.
Iceland Air on it.
Right.
Yes. And look at that. Ooh, postcards.
Ooh.
Just saying. They gave you 2 postcards and whatnot.
Does it say anything?
Postcards from Iceland, literally.
I don't know. Now you're making me work.
See, that's the good thing about
Trying to make me work.
That's the good thing about the IMAX. Like I was saying, at least it's tagged with the actual branding.
Yeah.
Multiple postcards.
There you go. See, you can see the wall art in downtown Reykjavik.
You should send me one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Actually, send it.
Just mail it to
I mean, that's what
from
people do
here.
postcards. That's what postcards are for.
It's true.
Is to mail. Yeah. So yeah, nice little cool little kit that I'll probably use. So yeah.
Sweet bag.
And then Malpensa. I left Malpensa, and on that way out, I actually took La Compagnie.
Oh, and nothing to mention within your time in Italy? Nothing to mention there? Shout out to the wife,
Shout
maybe?
out to the wife.
Shout out to the wife.
And my family. But yeah, nothing eventful out in Milan this time. I mean, it was Milano Gelato Week, so there you go. I guess you could say
Whoa.
that. There you go. But yeah, so leaving, I went back out of Malpensa. Usually, I don't fly out of Malpensa because it's an hour away, just like Keflavik Reykjavik Airport. Yeah, that's an hour away from Reykjavik.
Omaha Lincoln, maybe,
There you go.
for the more local listeners.
I usually fly out of Linate, but this time I again went out of Malpensa.
But this time you had your fancy pants on, so you went out of
that's
Milan.
La Compagnie. La Compagnie. Yeah, La Compagnie. So overall, I think I told you guys how I rated it. So the reason why I took it was because I was able to get it at a super discounted rate, thanks to, I want to say it was either booking or maybe it was my travel card, but got it for a significant discount compared to what you would pay. Normally, you'd pay $2,500 to just get on this aircraft, and it's only one way, not round trip. For those who don't know, La Compagnie, they've got basically 2 routes. They've got Milan to New York or Newark, and then Newark to Paris or Orly. So I've never been to Paris or Orly, but this time I took it from Milan. Those who don't know, it's like 74 first class seats on a A321 Neo. And which that is one positive thing, and I think I brought this up. You guys know this before. I hate people who recline or they're rude about it.
Pay
you know,
to
they
recline.
you should pay to recline is the way I view things. The great thing about this one was everything was first class, so everybody had. If you reclined, you didn't touch anybody.
Everyone had ample room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, if you reclined, you were actually doing a lay flat seat. It was not an actual, getting in somebody's business. But La Compagnie, really nice when it came to the flight attendants. Really weird that one of the flight attendants was wearing shorts the whole time. So kind of had that
Yeah.
old Southwest vibe that I remember them wearing shorts back in the day. The food was very French, unfortunately, and I'm not a big.
No way, an airline called La Compagnie was. You had French food. What?
It was
There were no donuts.
French food. It
No
was,
lamb shoulder.
Yeah, it wasn't lamb shoulder. Yeah, I just was not a fan of like pureed whatever it was. They do a lot of purees with French food, and so it just was not. They also had salmon. They were serving salmon on the aircraft, and I don't know if you know about fish.
No.
Seems terrible.
It's not a
Especially
good
in the
idea.
air. Salmon in the air is different. Yeah. Bad.
It's not good.
The texture is so weird in the air. It's just different up there.
Yeah.
They didn't. So when it comes to like their seats, the seats was great, plenty of room. However, their in-flight entertainment was not really good. It was all again French, so they barely had anything that was.
There's nothing American offered.
There was a few things, but like when it comes to like movies, they only had like 34 movies.
Only
So-
34 movies did you see?
Only.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to stop you right
Okay.
there. I'm going to stop you right there. See, that's my thing was like when people complain about like the selection, they're like, there just wasn't enough. I'm like, you mean of the 8 times you went through, like
Right.
scrolling through, only 34 movies.
Yeah.
Couldn't find one, huh?
Could not find one.
Oh, my man. So sorry.
So picky,
Nothing
my
was like
God.
new or anything. I don't even watch movies though, so I was like,
But yet, that's a complaint you have.
I mean,
Wasn't going to
Look
watch
at this
them,
guy over here.
but I want you to know that movie selection sucks.
well, if they had some movies, okay, I would have
They had
tried.
34 movies.
They had 34 movies, and half of them were in French.
So real quick, you did give me and Paige the rating. You said you gave it like a 6 or a 7, which means
Yeah.
on our scales it'd be an 8 or a 9. So just
Exactly.
just for the listeners at home, it's a pretty good experience. Yeah.
And but
If you need
But-
40 plus movies, cut it.
but if
Yeah.
if I had to pay for that at full price, I would have definitely not rated it. a
Your
6 or
tone would
7.
probably be a little different.
Now their bag, their amenity kit. This one now I did like their amenity kit because it did have the Milan stamp here and the New York stamp, so that's kind of
It's
cool.
got their airline tag right there,
Personalized.
and it says
Yeah.
La Company on it.
La Compagnie.
Very
I did
soft.
see that.
And they are like
Velvet.
everybody else who has their own typical, everybody has an eye mask, everybody has the toothbrush, but they also had the little La Compagnie eye mask.
How cute.
They also included a shopping bag if I wanted one. But if you're a fan of socks, which a lot of airlines suck at socks, they had little airplanes on their socks, which also have grips if you cared to have grips. But anyways,
In
It's
case
so
you're running really
cute.
fast in your socks.
and they had some.
You gotta run fast up and down the aisles.
I gotta go fast.
You're in the bathroom and turbulence starts. I gotta run back to my seat.
And they have specialist hand cream and rich sorbet cream for a hydrating glow cream. So
Oh wow,
so fancy there
A lot of
with
words.
La Compagnie.
so fancy. Yeah.
That one, so actually with La Compagnie, which was really nice, was flying out of Malpensa. We actually did have to take the bus to go take the air stairs. So that was really cool to be right up there on that aircraft.
And you flew a special in a very small fleet.
And I did fly a special,
Of only 2.
which that's going to be something we segue into.
What was the name of the special? It was like a
It was the 10-year anniversary.
something like that.
Yeah. And then when we landed in Newark, that was interesting. When we landed in Newark, we got too close to our gate. Then they turned the aircraft off and they tugged us into the gate.
Which is,
I've
I've never seen that. That's
Never
weird.
done that.
I've only seen it on wide bodies, like get tugged into gates, but I've never been on a plane where that happened.
It was very odd for me.
I mean, I've been tugged to the taxiway before, but never to a gate.
Only thing that comes to mind is like at JFK from the TWA hotel, that A380 always gets tugged in
Yeah.
when it comes in. That's the only thing I think of when I
Oh,
hear
yeah,
that.
that is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Always
before,
gets
yeah.
tugged in when it lands. It's weird.
So other than that, La Compagnie, if you can get it for a cheap rate, sure, why not take it? I don't know if I'd round trip it or try it again. But I'm also trying different routes to Europe however I can. So I like to try different airlines. So that is my experience. Do you guys have any questions or we can go ahead and...
Yeah, I'm done with it. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm good here. But hey, a round of applause for La Company or no? Oh, looks like it already happened. Sorry.
Yeah, it's already happened. So,
I think they've got a great livery.
Oh, yeah.
It is nice.
I love that blue.
Is it really? They only got 2 planes. I remember I saw the San Antonio Spurs flew. They were playing some NBA games in Paris, and they took the company.
Yeah, it's only 2.
Oh, I
Because
think
think
I
about it,
remember
that would be a perfect like charter for especially like NBA players that are 7-footers. Perfect plane for that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It would be.
Worth noting that the second La Compagnie plane is wearing sunscreen.
of course.
That's noted.
Noted.
Okay, well, on that note, let's go ahead and transition to Paige's polls. Paige's polls. Paige's polls. Paige's.
Polls.
I really need to just.
How
record
good was
so
that in
That was so
person?
awkward.
That was amazing.
How good was that in person?
It was really awkward having you here and doing that.
Live
I'm like,
audience. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, oh.
It is awkward.
All right. So, first poll, which was a question. Favorite livery, past or present? So that's specials, standard liveries. Unfortunately, nobody said Redway.
Oh.
Is that technically?
Nice.
Oh, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I see what you mean.
Well,
That's why we're here.
Exactly. Yeah.
Don't
Aviation _Mike_NC. The Manchester City Etihad 787.
Ooh, that's a good
Ooh,
one.
that is a good one. Yep.
And I will transition to that. The Etihad Grand Prix livery, if you guys are familiar with that.
Yeah. In fact, all the Etihad specials are pretty good.
It's just one of my favorite standard liveries out there. Jet Set shirts. Iceland Air's Heckler Aurora for special. Regular liveries, Northwest Bowling Shoe and Midwest Airlines.
I did see the Iceland Air waiting out there. They have it parked all the way out in the distance.
Aren't they
Aurora.
done with
yeah.
all their 757s? Speaking of them,
They are
going to be done.
and
They are done.
The 200s, but not the 300s.
Oh,
yes, I saw the
Yeah.
300s. The 200s they were done, and they have a lot of white ones out there as well. So they're
Oh.
probably going to lease those out to somebody, I assume. I don't know.
I don't know either. JMS _GBR, the Southwest Shamu livery.
Shout out. Yes.
And which they had a Shamu 1 and a 2.
Yes.
Yeah, they had 2 different. So which one? Which one?
Which one? Allison _N_860, Delta Widget livery circa 1970-80.
Fair.
Yes.
Established on the run, favorite special livery, Alaska's original Salmon 30 Salmon, RIP.
Slammin' 37. Yeah.
Yeah, they messed up there by taking that away.
Yes. And I actually photographed it a couple days before it went out of service, so or got
look
repainted,
At
I
you.
guess.
Look at you, Paige.
That's an expensive model plane to try to get to if you're trying to get it.
Yes, it is. And then what I was talking about earlier, XRS 54 said N809 SY is pretty cool. That's the Gopher plane.
Oh, okay.
That's the one. That's the one that. Okay, I'm sorry.
N809
So
SY.
I don't know who that is.
I had
but
to look that up, but he said that, and I was like, okay.
My man, I don't know who that was that you just shouted out. But listen, no disrespect. That's a terrible looking plane. Sorry.
I don't mind it. So,
it's
It's
not
Ugly.
the best.
so
It's ugly.
Let me look at it. Like,
Yeah,
It's nothing against Minnesota. They just got unfortunate colors.
they do.
Gophers. Yay.
I feel like the front half is okay.
Yeah. It just looks like it's like a tainted sun country. It looks like
Oh,
it got
God.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, yeah,
got too
technically,
much
yeah.
sun.
Yeah, it looks like it's burnt or something.
too much sun
Yeah.
country.
Yeah.
What about you, Paige? Do you have a tie for like 100?
I do.
Is yours like a?
I mean, Maryland won, my daughter, and I'm a little bit biased about Lufthansa's new livery. I love the Korean new livery, actually. I really like that. I'm also biased. I love the
Very topical.
Southwest, their current heart livery. Shoot. Yeah, I don't know. As far as standard liveries go, Etihad definitely has got to be my top favorite standard livery. So, what about you guys?
Matthew, got anything you'd like to share?
Personal connection.
Sure.
Wincher the Dolphin from Allegiant.
Okay. Oh wow.
Oh, yeah.
Worked that one a lot here in Omaha. So
Still
connection.
flying, right?
Yeah,
Still
I
flying.
believe so.
Yeah.
And the story behind that livery is pretty cool too. It was
Isn't the dolphin dead?
I do
I
believe it did
so.
Yeah.
recently. Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Winter.
Yes, Wincher.
Very sad.
Yeah, I like that one. And the Emirates Dubai Expo on the A380 is really
Yes.
nice.
And they had 2 different versions of that one.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Depending on the engine color, it was different.
Oh yeah.
I do also have to shout out quick. My parents did reply to that, but through text. My mom said that she's going to defer to what I have, and my dad likes Freedom One. So,
America.
America, yes.
Yeah, that's a great livery. That's a great livery.
Justin.
Let's see. So his favorite like special? I mean, like honestly, like there's a lot of good ones out there. I
Yeah.
mean, the one that's very nostalgic for me will always be All Blacks New Zealand 777. Not the Dreamliner, not the
Yeah.
A321, the 777.
'Cause you have a model of that.
OG, the OG. Yeah, that too. But yeah, that's always one of my fondest memories of a special. Man, there's so many good specials out there. But standard livery, I would say honestly the Chrome American, just because of sentimental reasons. That's like my first memories of flying on the MD-80, stuff like that. And honestly, one of the old school Deltas. You know,
Old school Delta, I love it.
Me too.
So mine. So I obviously love Ita. I think Ita has a beautiful livery.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's got that loyal. You know, like it looks so great. But I also love Brussels Airlines, and I'll say this because they have a lot of
that is a
specials.
boring livery, man.
It's because of all their specials they have.
Okay.
So they've got like, which I was able to see in the air in Milan, the Belgian national team, their football club, their soccer team. They have a Red Devils aircraft. It's all red. I love it. They also have a 1010 one. They also have a Tomorrowland. So those who know about Tomorrowland, I love Tomorrowland. So they've got all these different aircraft, and it's just
So they're specials, yeah.
they're specials.
They're house liveries, rather.
It's a little boring. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But when
Just
it
wanna
comes,
clarify.
when it comes to the overall one, it's going to be Ita. I love Ita.
That's fair, yeah. When that light hits it just right on the tail, brings out all those characters.
That is so cool. Absolutely. Yep.
Not the mozzarella one.
Yeah, they.
Oh, the mozzarella
The Born
stick.
2001
Yeah.
or 2021.
that's a tough
Yeah.
livery. But there's just a lot of great specials out there. There's so many. It's hard to pick one.
And Mule 1 is another great one.
She is nice.
Notice how all the ones that Paige were mentioning are Southwest.
All Southwest.
Shocker.
Obviously.
Anything that flies through Dallas left field, love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Literal love.
Yes.
Oh yeah, and they have a Smurfs Brussels one too. Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, yeah, I
I
have
saw
seen
that
that.
one. I believe of London is where I saw that one.
Yeah. I actually have. I got this Smurf from the Smurf Museum, which
The
is
Smurf
this,
Museum?
They have a Smurfs Museum
sounds terrible.
in Brussels.
Wow.
So
Smurf Museum sounds not like my cup of tea.
quit smurfing around here, guys.
You know who doesn't have special liveries? Maybe they do. Does British Airways have many special liveries?
Oh.
Used to.
Like the 747s, take those away. Do they really have any specials? This is just coming off the top of my head.
They had a 777 that was something rose.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Oh, the roses. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got a picture of that in LAX, I think.
Oh, wow. Yeah, yes, I do. Yeah.
I don't know if they have any other ones. Though. Yeah.
So
In fact, that's one of my
I have a
better
model of
pictures because
that.
I got a picture of me taking a picture of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, they have something. Oh, they had that old BAE, right? Or is it BAE?
I guess what I'm referring to is like
Oh,
specials because
yeah,
that's
that's
an
right,
old
yeah.
livery of theirs before they became British Airways.
Right.
But you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, it's that roses. They have. No, that's a concept. That's not right. That's terrible.
Where is that picture?
Yeah, sorry guys, we're
Oh,
just
yeah,
looking
see, here's
right
a
now.
picture. Shout out Randall of
Yeah.
me photographing that Roses airplane. Yeah, that's me right
Is
there.
that one even still around?
I don't think so.
I think because that's a 200. That's a real old 777.
Oh,
If it
she's
is-
an old
I
girly.
don't think that's still there.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
But anyway,
Yeah, I don't
interesting
think
question.
that
I just randomly thought of that.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
You know who else?
I don't-
I guess. Never mind. Yeah.
Was there any other?
Oh, another poll? Yeah, the one where you guys are completely wrong.
Oh yeah, let's have.
Except the
Let's have
numbers are
this
going to speak for that.
Yes.
Actually, not because the facts and the evidence are going to speak for that, but go off. So,
Actually, it sounds like you're about to go off, but sure.
I will be. Don't get me started. Are airplanes with stickers on them considered a special livery? No at 66% and yes at 34%. However, my dad forgot to
What was
vote.
that one more time? Numbers one more
I'm
time.
not-
Sorry, I
nope,
didn't hear it.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
say the numbers
Because
again.
So the numbers are actually a little bit different because my dad also voted yes for this. Both my parents voted yes, but he didn't get to the poll in time.
Yeah, 'cause your
so
parents
there
voted.
would be more weight on yes.
Yeah, that's a skewed post for sure.
And no, it's not. Whatever.
Both your parents voted yes. That's a little weighted, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're rookies in aviation, so
What does that
just
even
saying.
mean?
And they don't know that much about aviation like the way they do, but they think they're special. So,
They're rookies in aviation.
and you guys are wrong
I guess
because
I don't know what that means.
We did some research.
Let's talk about it.
If you Google,
Are you part of this too?
I was not part of this.
no, I did this for myself.
I'm doing the whole, what do you
I was
want to
gonna
talk
say,
about?
Of course you're on yours.
Cody
I was like,
Rhodes,
of course you're on each other's side. Gosh.
No, we're opposite. this
Okay,
time.
cool, good. Thank God.
Okay, whatever.
Talk.
If you Google, are airplanes with stickers on them special liveries?
I can
The
Google
answer
anything.
is yes. Airplanes with stickers or unique temporary designs that deviate from the standard livery are often considered special liveries, even if they aren't permanent paint jobs.
Cool.
Is that
You,
the answer from Google AI?
But it was derived from Delta.
The same Google AI that said to eat glue to get over the flu, I believe it was.
yeah, cool. You read it on the internet. Good job.
But actually, this is derived from Delta because Delta Airlines has, through the Delta Flight Museum, they have a website that documents all the special liveries that they've ever had from 1976 to present. And they list all of the planes with stickers on them. So
what now? Delta, what they say is the gospel? Okay.
I mean, it's hard to argue that.
So you're telling me if you looked up later tonight, if you went on the internet and you found out that Southwest said stickers are not specials, you'd probably turn a page pretty quick, wouldn't you?
Turn a page.
That actually segues
return the
into my
page.
next segment because the special livery that I flew, Southwest Spirit of Hope, there's an article about her that Southwest published when she first came out. And they referred to it as that it's a new signature special aircraft called the Spirit of Hope.
Special aircraft, though.
Huh?
Not special livery, special
Yeah,
aircraft.
that actually is a huge.
That is correct.
Yeah, they don't call that a special livery.
Words have meaning.
Because okay, so that actually brings up a good point. Special livery versus special aircraft. Special.
They're both one and the same to me.
Absolutely not. They are no.
No, it
Whoa,
said-
whoa.
Yeah,
That's
new
a great
signature
point. I'm glad you
aircraft,
brought
the
that up.
Spirit of Hope. Now, here's another thing
right,
that
calm
I
down.
actually want. I'm perfectly calm.
For those of you not watching, she's standing up. She's on the table right now.
She is
Oh,
shaking
God.
fists.
So this is something I actually wanted to bring up because I wish that airlines would do this more. So when I flew the Spirit of Hope, the inside of the plane was actually painted. And so that was really cool. And I think that alone sets that one specifically apart. And that's something that I wish airlines would do more of, actually, would be to paint the inside of the aircraft.
Yeah.
Like, because every overhead bin had a design on it. And so, yeah, I wish airlines would do that more.
Anyway, back to the aircraft livery conversation that you
Yeah.
just so quickly turned on. Special aircraft versus special livery are two different things, as mentioned in the research that you did, mind
It's
you.
the same thing.
Gentlemen,
Let me
No,
go.
it is not.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I'm going to disagree because I agree with you two that.
No, here's-
Hold on. Let's go ahead and acknowledge our tribal chief. Acknowledging my tribal chief.
I will not.
All right.
And as I point down,
So yeah, if you are just literally putting a sticker on an aircraft that has the same livery as the whole rest of the fleet, then it is not considered a special livery.
you guys only.
It's literally just
Ow,
a
my
sticker.
ears. You guys only want to say that because you want to say that I've never flown a special livery because y'all have an alliance.
why do you always make this like it's something against
It's not
you?
us against you, Paige.
Because it is, because you rub it into my face all the time when you have a special.
Well, yeah. Doesn't mean it's
Remember we had
Yeah, because you guys have an alliance to figure out what specials fly, what routes, and that's how you plan your flights. And you don't tell me because you don't want me to fly a special.
She just figured it out. We text each other all the time. Like, hey,
You know,
Yep.
she actually sent that to me the other day, and I said, "Well, finally, you figured it out."
she figured it out.
I did.
In fact, we figured out like so far in advance.
If
3
we
months
knew
out
how to
in
fly
advance.
special liveries, wouldn't we be doing them much more often?
Exactly.
Or are we doing it just enough to get you thinking? That's
No,
what you're
because
getting at.
you can't fly them every flight, obviously.
Well, if
That's
you-
what I'm saying. We're doing it just enough where it's not obvious.
If
but you guys are doing it on purpose.
If you want to fly a special, go fly on Frontier. Which,
I
by the
already
way,
have
you
twice.
So there you go.
Okay, whatever.
It's just the tail. Each one changes.
Anyway, I think we can conclude business here, and that you're wrong. Yep.
No, you guys are wrong. And you guys just want to say that I haven't flown a special, so that's that.
Again, not about you. My gosh, take
It
it.
is.
Calm down.
This is so interesting being on the outside of this, watching this happen.
We're
live.
not attacking you. We're just
Doesn't she?
You guys do attack me with it, though, all the time.
okay. So I threw it into ChatGPT, and this is what they say: Good question. Stickers on a plane can be considered part of a special livery, but not always. It depends on the context. So consider it a special livery if it's a sticker that's part of a large-scale design or thematic branding, airline anniversaries, partnerships, movie promotions. It significantly alters the look of the aircraft for a standard livery, or it's used for publicity or commemorative purposes, often across multiple aircraft. Okay. For examples, a Star Wars or Pokemon themed decal across the fuselage, or an airline celebrating Pride with a rainbow flag. Not considered a special livery. The sticker is small and functional. Example given.
Small and functional.
Wi-Fi equipped badge near the door. It's a temporary marking. It's not visible enough to be considered a unique visual variation by aviation enthusiasts or industry standards. So in short, yes, stickers can see special liveries, but only when they're used as a noticeable, unique design element.
Okay, so I'll take a page out of like Jet Tip's book here. Is that I consider them notable. They're not necessarily special liveries. They're notable, which is literally a category on Jet Tip. Notable.
Right. Yeah.
Not necessarily.
I see that.
Not necessarily full-blown liveries, but they're notable mentions per se.
Right.
So like Delta, like they have a couple 767s and 757s, right? They've got like nose decals.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
So those are not special liveries,
They're
are
not.
they?
No.
Yes.
The 100-year
matter.
anniversary is,
Okay.
but not
Yeah,
these
of course,
stickers.
that, yeah.
Okay.
However, how about we compromise here? Can we compromise on the whole notable? We'll call it like notables.
Okay.
Here. And in fact, ChatGPT said, want examples of famous sticker-based special liveries. Alaska Airlines honoring those who serve.
Well, that's a full-blown livery.
That is a
Not a
full-blown.
sticker.
That's a sticker. With
Actually, all of these are just not. Yeah, it says Southwest State themed
Well,
liveries.
again, you are-
Oh, you suck, ChatGPT.
well, again, you are looking at ChatGPT.
Yeah.
What do we go off of? Google AI or ChatGPT?
Yeah.
So,
Might as
I
well
don't
listen.
know.
Might as well listen to me. Yeah,
Yeah.
at this point,
but I do agree that it is just just a sticker.
brother.
Okay. I have not flown a special livery. Are you guys happy now that I said
What?
that?
You haven't flown a
Does that
special
make you
livery? Oh my
sad? Does
God.
that make you
you
happy?
flew Frontier. You flew a Frontier.
Okay. I've flown 2 special liveries.
Doesn't count.
Okay. Do you actually believe that, or do you just say that?
No, the Frontier planes are not special liveries. That is their livery.
You just said they were. Okay. Now that's a new debate.
Now we can
New
we can
poll.
disagree on
This
that.
is new poll.
But yeah, to me that is just Frontier's livery. They just have many deviations of it, kind of like Iceland Air. Iceland Air is a new modern livery that they're sporting. That's their livery. They have many different
They have many
concepts of that
different-
livery.
yep.
Yeah.
To me, Frontier is the same way. They're not a bunch of special liveries. They're just different concepts within the same livery.
Yeah. Okay. So
Preach.
with my 100 flights that I've done, I've never flown a special livery. I
thought
hope
you
you're
had.
happy.
I thought you had.
Spirit of Hope is the only one I've flown.
Oh, and that's not a special livery. Right.
It's a special interior.
I thought you had been on one.
So
No, I
question.
have not.
The Envoy 175 with Gary Sneeze Foundation.
The
It
what?
has it's a sticker.
That's a sticker.
I recently
Sticker,
just saw
But
that.
it also has winglets that say honoring those who serve.
Yeah, the winglets do bring a different degree into it.
Are
What?
those stickers?
I didn't know that existed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So ironically, I just saw something online of that recently.
I think they recently put the sticker on it. They
Yeah.
have the honoring those, or I forget what it says exactly.
Yeah, because it flew into Minneapolis last week. And yeah, so yeah, I
They've
just
had
saw
the
it.
ribbon on it for
It's-
a while. I think the Gary Sneeze part is new.
Yeah, because ironically, it's funny that you're bringing that up. I literally saw something on Instagram recently of that. Like it was a new unveiling of the side.
Yeah, and it's not where normal stickers are.
Yeah,
always on the
it's
nose.
where like the registration's at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it
Oh, they
says,
do have one.
it
on
says
the
Gary
nose.
Sinise, the Lieutenant Dan band.
Lieutenant
And
Dan.
Lieutenant, yeah, because he's.
I've never heard of this.
Your legs.
I guess AI overview, so not 100% correct, we think. Could be. Features custom decals, interior signage, winglet designs, and a unique registration number. Oh, because it's N316GS for Gary Sinise. Ah,
I'll have to look it up.
the more we are learning with the Exo.
I mean, this will be a debate till the end of time. There's going to be people on the left, going to be people on the right.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, the interior has a big old sticker. Proud partner of Gary Sinise and the Lieutenant
Black,
Dan Band's
yeah.
mission. And
Shout out Airline Geeks.
there you go. It's got
Very
it's got, yeah, you're right. The winglets on the outside.
What's the registration? I'm just going to look it up on my own.
N316GS. Golf
I
Sierra.
think that's the old picture that you're seeing because it's now like in the registration, the sticker that they unveiled.
It's right here.
Oh, I can't really see
And it says N316GS,
gotcha.
and there's a sticker over here.
I did not know about the one on the nose.
I mean,
That's not a special livery.
No.
I don't think it is because it's still the American Eagle.
Yeah.
The eaglet. The American
You
eaglet.
said the stickers by the registration?
There's one by the nose and then one by the registration.
Yep, there's 2 different stickers on there.
Oh, and someone just referred to it as a special on Instagram. So there you go.
Because that's accurate.
Yeah.
It's a sticker.
Yeah.
It's special.
Yeah.
They must be one of those aviation rookies that you mentioned. Not knowing what they're talking about.
I'm not even a rookie, but I know what I'm talking about.
All right, so we do agree that stickers are not specials.
Correct.
Yep. We have
Fine,
come
I
to-
agree.
What?
I'm just trying to make you guys happy.
we're
I don't
not-
actually agree, but I'm
no.
just trying to make you happy.
No,
Oh, well,
keep
don't say that.
your opinion. Keep your opinion. It's okay.
You
Stick
don't
by
want
your
me to have
guns.
my opinion, so that's okay.
What is
We're not
this?
here attacking you.
You live with this? Is this like an everyday thing?
we
Like just
Sometimes.
just completely turning it around and blowing it up?
no.
Just
Keep
give
your
up.
opinion.
Give everything up.
You have opinions. Everybody,
Okay,
You agreed.
fine, I'll keep my
Nope, you
opinion.
agreed. Done.
it's over. And on that note, no, but literally on that note, let's go ahead and close out the pod. Where can we follow each other all on the
Wait, future travels?
Oh. God, thanks
I'm
for the
sorry. Is that
correction.
conversation
Let's just
special
not
or not?
Let's just
Whoa.
forget the entire cool trip we're taking next week.
Well, it's not like we're not going to talk
Speaking
about
of
it at some
rookies.
point. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
What a rook, dude.
All right, well then let's go ahead and talk about our future travels. Paige, why are we all traveling next week?
Because we're going to have my birthday party in LAX.
Oh, okay. So we have a future
In the
travel
airport.
In the airport, kind of, at the top of the H.
at the top of the H.
It
So
was a joke.
how are we all getting there? Paige, how are you going to get there?
Southwest. Through Denver.
Doubles. I'm taking American direct. So I'll be on there Embraer
You
175.
guys were going out together.
No.
Coming back together.
Knew it had to be one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, right?
Duh.
One of them.
Duh.
Yeah, one of them.
And how are you getting out there?
American.
American.
Yeah.
You're taking the A319,
Wait,
which
Justin's
is like the
traveling
best
somewhere?
part of your trip. Honestly.
Yeah. A319 to get to a 777 now. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
777-2 Hondo.
A319 is going to be better for sure.
Totally. Yeah. Even that's a BS lie. Yeah.
It's not, but okay.
You're telling me that's going to
She's
be better
so
than 777?
cute. A319s are so cute, and you are in complete, full denial.
Yeah. Classic Paige coming out again. Yeah.
Complete denial. And it's time for you to step right into acceptance.
Handle turn?
Well, first off, Matt.
Yeah.
Hi.
What's
I
your
am here.
future travels in the next week or two?
Apart from going home on Sunday, I will be going to Missoula, Montana
Nice.
in 2 weeks. And then
Nice.
stopping in San Diego for a work conference on the way.
By the way, so getting back to Charlotte, obviously taking the nonstop, I
Yes,
assume.
correct.
Gotcha.
Stop on America, yep.
Missoula, Montana. Nice.
Yeah, not
Big
sure.
sky country.
What are you taking there?
Not sure.
Okay.
Maybe American, maybe Delta, possibly. Delta's
Hey,
not
big
far.
sky country fans out here, man. Yes.
Delta or United, maybe could be an options. And then we're doing Alaska from Missoula to San Diego.
Nice.
Very cool.
Nice.
Well, hey, pleasure having you on the podcast, man.
Thank you guys.
Pleasure. Appreciate you coming out.
And we definitely know
Yeah,
we'll see you
It
around.
was fun.
Okay. Let's go ahead and finish out the podcast. Now that I stand corrected, follow the social media train. Paige, where can we follow you?
Find me at Oma Spotter Page. You can find my travel buddy, Adventures with Aileron.
Matt,
MBG_aviation on Instagram.
Justin,
At spotting.omaha.
and you follow me, Photography by Adama D on the Instagram. You can follow us at the Exit Row Pod on Instagram, and we have a Facebook account, and we're on all the on the podcast platforms. Please like, subscribe, share. Please say hi to your pets
And your corgis.
and your corgis. And
Hands up. Hands
go
up.
ahead.
Am I a part of this?
Yep.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, you are.
right.
You're at the table. Hands up. All right, team exit row on 3. 1, 2, 3. Exit row.
Okay. Thank you guys. See ya. Bye.
Bye.